Well, good morning, everyone, and welcome again to another live this morning. And hope you're having a great start to your day. Question and answer Friday. A lot of good questions. So we're going to go through that. Lynn, how are you? Phyllis and Andrea and Margaret and Marin, John, our friend from Elgin, Illinois, Jeanette, bonjour. Linda, good morning to you. Jeanette, we appreciate it. Rosa, how are you? And Lee, good morning to you. Good to have you on with us this morning. Yeah, happy Friday, Elizabeth. And hold on, I missed somebody there. Kristen and Lynn, another Lynn. Rosa, another Rosa. Okay. And Jeanette and Diane and Muriel, and I probably missed a few. Brenda and Keys, Lorraine, Pat, Morris, and Nick, good morning. Okay, let's go, and bonjour, Yalan. Okay, let's go through this. Jerry, good morning to you from Nouveau-Brunswick, and Maria and Jose from Timmins. Woohoo! And Ellie, okay, and Bella, Sherry, Cammy. I love those names. Maya. You guys are great. Okay, so questions. We'll start off with sort of conditions, and then we'll go to questions more about supplements. So that's how I divided them this morning. The first one, Shelley is asking, can you discuss atrial fibrillation? Yeah, absolutely, we can discuss it. I'm trying to think if I actually did a podcast. I know I did a podcast on, I don't know if it was all about atrial fibrillation, but I know I did. It'd be quite a while ago. Now here, let me just say, first of all, what is it, right? It's when the heart goes out of rhythm. You remember, two big things about your heart. One, it's a muscle. Two, it's an electrical grid, okay? Electricity. You don't want to. Atrial fib can be dangerous because it elevates your risk of having a stroke or a heart attack. But I want to say this, okay? Why, just follow me for a second. Why is there so much atrial fib today? Okay, I'm a why guy. Why? Why do we have so much autism? Comparatively. Why are we losing the war on cancer? Why? I got all these whys. And so for me, I try and get into the why. Why would we have comparatively? Okay, remember, I've been around a long time. So why would we have comparatively atrial fib today? Big jump in the rates of atrial fibrillation. Why does it occur in women more than men? Why? You know what journalism has done today? Journalism's supposed to ask the 5 W questions. Why, when, where, like that kind of thing. I'm a journalist when it comes to health. I want to know why. Why do we see that? Okay, so here's a couple of things that I want you to think of. Now, remember what the heart is. The heart is a muscle, and the heart is a grid, electrical grid. Why do we see so much problems with the heart? Number one, food. Your heart's a muscle. Your heart needs protein. Your heart needs CoQ10. for the little battery packs within the the heart muscle cells. And today, the vast majority of people, they don't eat enough protein, and especially red meat. There is nothing better for your heart than a steak, ladies. And it's not chicken where you're going to get it. You can have chicken because it's protein, but it will not elevate your levels of CoQ10. You get that in red meat. Steak. You need that to have a strong heart. I'm sorry. I know that offends certain people, but I got to tell you what I know. Controversial or not. So for the muscle, you need CoQ10. When you take a statin drug, by the way, to lower your cholesterol, even on TV, they advertise, oh, if you're taking a statin drug, you're going to have low levels of CoQ10. So they tell you to take it as a supplement. Well, you can take it as a supplement, but I'd rather you eat it. Your body makes CoQ10. Just feed it properly. So protein, and especially red meat. That's one of the big issues today. It's why you see, one of the reasons that you see so much atrial fibrillation. Here's another one. It's a grid. You need water. Dehydration. Well, as a matter of fact, let me prove it to you. If you get atrial fib, you know what they're going to put you on? A blood thinner. They don't want your blood to be too thick. And I understand that. But you want to thin your blood? Add water. H2O. And only H2O is water. Coffee's not water. Coffee's good, but it's not water. Orange juice isn't water. Tea isn't water. Only water's water. Let me hit another bird with a stone here. Cheryl was asking, drinking water from the tap, should I boil it? No, don't. Well, if you live out in the country, maybe. If you're living off a well and you don't have a filter on. I'm more interested, Cheryl, in you filtering your water. So if you can take tap water, two things that I would tell you to do if you're drinking tap water. One, filter it. Filter out. Get all the chemicals. Like in Sudbury, 2,100 or so chemicals are added to the water here. I prefer not to drink it, but if you are going to drink it, filter it. Get a Brita or get a Zero Water or get one of those things that's not that expensive, or put a filter on your tap or whatever. Filter that water. More important than boiling it. And add salt to it. Add Himalayan salt. You're now adding 84 minerals. What does that do? Well, it makes your water more alkaline. You don't have to spend a lot of money to get alkaline water. Okay, so that's what I recommend. But getting back to atrial fibrillation, okay, strengthen the heart muscle. And when those chambers in the heart get thick, and they start playing with the electrical grid and throw the heart out of rhythm, one of them is dehydration. That'll thin your blood naturally and strengthen the heart muscle. Eat vitamin S, steak. Okay. Lay off the alcohol too. You know, it's amazing with atrial fib. A lot of people, and by the way, another thing too, magnesium. Magnesium's good for atrial fib. Because magnesium plays with that electricity. That's why I like electrolytes. I like magnesium. I like potassium. Okay? Okay, so good question, Shelley, to start the morning off. Sinus problems, Wendy. Okay, that's a common problem. If you have chronic sinusitis, okay? If you get recurring sinus infections, let me tell you why. I'm a why guy. Why do you get that? Why do people have so much trouble? Certain people have so much trouble with sinuses. It's yeast. It's fungus. It originally came from the gut. You get a sinus infection, you take an antibiotic. Sometimes you have no choice. It's raging, and you're really unwell. The problem with that is you kill all your good bacteria, then you set up yeast and remember what yeast is. Yeast is the first cousin of mold. They're cousins. They're first cousins. Guess where you find mold? Moisture. You see, a lot of people have trouble with their sinuses because they have fungus in there. It's a yeast. It's a mold-like. And then they can get a postnasal drip. So what do? One, broad spectrum probiotics. And I even got people sniffing. Don't do it in public. They think you're taking cocaine. Open up a probiotic capsule because it's broad spectrum and you can sniff it into your sinuses. It will help to go in there and get rid of that candida. I love oil of oregano spray. Now, listen, I should have brought it with me this morning just so I can show it to you. There's a sinus spray called SinuCleanse, I believe. They owe me money because I'm always pumping their tires and telling people to take, but this is the best thing you can do to clean those sinuses out. Because what oil of oregano does, now don't just put pure oil of oregano drops into your sinuses unless you want to take a beeline to heaven. Don't do that. It's too strong. But they actually make a spray. I love it. And at the first sign of a cold, by the way, sniff, sniff. Now you can take, you know how I like oil of oregano and, put it on your toothbrush and all this and that. And that's very good. It's going to get into your body. Brush your teeth, brush your gums with it. It'll get into the body, kills fungus. But if you can, try and deliver it in here. Now don't overdo it. Don't overdo it. But, so, chronic sinusitis. If you have to take an antibiotic, I don't like them. It's like ladies with bladder infections. If they're recurring, it's not a bacteria. The bacteria is not the cause. It may be there, but it's caused because along the bladder wall, you're going to get yeast. It occurs after the very first antibiotic if you don't take enough probiotics to get rid of that. And then guess what? Here's another thing. Don't feed the bears. Don't give yeast sugar. They multiply. So it's amazing. A lot of people, even on the reset, have told me that their sinuses are much better. And for some, milk will make your sinuses worse. Milk has got lots of lactose. That's why I like cheese better. It's eggs, meat, and cheese, and even cream. Because it doesn't have the lactose in it. It has a little bit, but not much. Milk has a lot of lactose. That's why you see so much trouble with milk today, because milk ain't natural anymore in the grocery store. Milk is supposed to be half cream. When I see 1% or skim, I say that's 1% is the size of the brain of people who drink that stuff. They only got 1% of their brain working, maybe 2%. It's not natural. That's not what milk is. Anyways, you know what I think about that. White Pepsi, I call it. Don't give your kids 1 or 2%. Give them whole milk. There wouldn't be the problems today that we see with 70% of kids have trouble with, they call it dairy, but they really have trouble with milk and ice cream. Okay, very good questions, and I'm doing ranting, of course. Thelma, how do I increase my white blood cells? Well, listen, whether white or red, it's usually, when I see low counts of white blood cells, it's usually like a borderline anemia. Increase your blood count by eating more red meat. Increase your B12. Increase your vitamin D. Now, vitamin D doesn't make T cells and natural killer cells, but vitamin D will take the ones you have and charge their batteries. You want to charge your white blood cells' batteries. Pretend it's like your cell phone. You have to charge them. And the thing that charges your white blood cells is the sun. Vitamin D. That's why you don't get sick in the summer very often. You don't get a cold. I mean, some people, oh, doc, I got a cold in the summer. Okay, but you're the exception. Okay? So, Thelma, good question. Rebecca's asking about donating blood. That's a good question too, Rebecca. What do I think about that? Well, especially if you have high ferritin, you got high iron levels in your blood, they'll tell you should go donate blood. Thick. Your blood's thick. It's thick, full of iron. Iron's good for you, but not that much. But that's usually a problem in my experience with too much. Your liver is gummed up. But I'm not against giving blood. Now listen, can I just go off here for a second? Medicine, you don't have to go too far back, 100, 150 years, or not even that. They did bloodletting. Take your blood out of your body. And, they were wrong. Now, you can go give blood, but that's so you're going to save people's lives by giving blood. You get a kid that's got leukemia or whatever, needs, they go through that stuff like it's water, man. They need blood, transfusions, save people's lives. But here's what I say. If doctors 150 years ago had read the Bible, the life of the flesh is in the blood. You don't take it out of your body. You put it into your body. Blood can save your life. Anyways, that's a little side. Blood is important. Absolutely. But I got no problem. You want to go donate blood. Make sure you're not anemic. Of course, they'll do that too, right? The Red Cross. they check your blood right on the spot to make sure you're not, and they don't want no hepatitis or anything like that. They don't want your blood. But anyways, for sure, you're saving people's lives when you give blood. I'm all for it. Okay. Antonio is asking, Antonio, that's a Latin for Tony. Hello, Antonio. My French name is Antoine. Oh, I hated that. When I was in a French school, and the nuns would call me Antoine, I'm telling you, I would hit the roof as a kid. I didn't like that. My name is Tony. You can call me Anthony. I'll let you do that. But don't call me Antoine. I don't like that. Can I call you Antonio? He's asking, did the body go into gluconeogenesis? Which is, gluconeogenesis is just taking your food and turning it into sugar. Yes, to some extent, when you're eating the reset, eggs, meat, and cheese, yes, your body goes into gluconeogenesis, Antonio. Good question. Well, remember, I don't know if you remember this, but this is what I've said. Listen, if your body needs sugar, glucose, all food turns to sugar. All food. Eventually. The problem with carbs is they turn to sugar rapidly. And that requires an enormous amount of insulin. So if your body needs sugar, yes, it'll take steak. But now you need very little insulin. See, the idea with the reset is, you know my expression, you're sending your pancreas on a holiday to Hawaii for a month. You're regenerating not only your liver, but your pancreas. Because you need so little insulin. You're giving your body a big time rest and detox, especially because you're aiming at the liver too. But Antonio, I like the way you're thinking. Okay, that's good. It's a good question to ask. Annie is asking about, are oxalates in the urine caused by too much protein? Nope. Next week, I promise, we're going to do, we're doing a whole session on your kidneys. You'll find it interesting how your kidneys work and what you do to save your kidneys. Folks, you can't live without kidneys. Another thing that we've seen an enormous increase is kidney disease, chronic kidney disease or acute injury to the kidneys. But oxalates come from veggies. You got too much oxalates in your urine? Well, it's a good thing it's in the urine. You don't want oxalates sticking in your kidneys because they'll form stones. And how do you get that? You get it by consuming too much vegetables. Because that's where your oxalates come from. And tea. Ladies. And chocolate. Ladies. They give off oxalates. Now, if you got good kidneys, drinking a lot of water, they're in your urine, but it's not from protein. That is the big lie. We'll talk about that next week, I promise. It's not protein, the problem. It's not salt either. Touch that next week. Oh, here? Okay. The next question. I'm sorry. And does eating salt decrease bone density? Just the opposite. I'm not a big guy on a salt-free diet, even if you have high blood pressure. It ain't the salt. It's sugar. Don't blame salt for what sugar did. You know, it's like blaming the hamburger. You're blaming the hamburger instead of the bun. It's not the hamburger, it's the bun. It's not salt, it's sugar. I know we bought that lie about salt. You need salt in your bones need minerals. Salt. That's why I love Himalayan salt or a good sea salt. Natural salt. Not table salt, that's sodium chloride. I'm not big on that. That's not real salt. But seriously, guys, this is really important for you. You need that. Your body needs it. Your bones need it. Okay? You need those minerals. So very, very good question, Ann. It's the opposite. Add minerals. Your bones need vitamin D. Your bones need magnesium. Your bones need different minerals. If you take vitamin K2 or you eat a lot of cheese curds and butter, you're going to put calcium in your bones where it belongs. And you ought to eat your calcium. Don't take calcium as a supplement. The best sources of calcium are eggs, meat, and cheese. In nature, you eat them. And K2, because K2 is in nature. K2 is found in butter and cheese, especially curds. That'll take your calcium, put it right in your bones. Okay, so let's answer some questions about supplements. Mike, zeolites. I haven't been asked that question in a long time. What do I think about them? Well, zeolites are like an ancient rocks. Okay, and I you know, they grind them into a powder or whatever, and then you can take it as chelation. What is chelation? Chelation, C, not K. You pronounce it with a K. Chelation. I like EDTA as chelation. It's a vinegar-like substance. Okay? So, and I like probiotics for chelation, not like zeolites. Look, I don't have a lot of experience with that. I you know, it was like, what am I, DE, which is, how do you even pronounce it? It's like charcoal. Well, you don't eat charcoal. I used to tell people, you're not made for that. Don't put that in your stomach. You don't put rocks, zeolites, so much in your stomach because I think it will coat your stomach. And by the way, those ancient, they have lead in there and aluminum and that. And look, my experience is I'd rather use something that I know. So Mike, I'm not saying I'm against it. I'm just saying I don't have the experience with it. I know how to chelate heavy metals out of the body because I've been testing for heavy metals for a long time. Lead and mercury and cadmium, aluminum. I used to do the urine test to find all that stuff. And, you know, if it was in your urine, it's in your tissue. So I would chelate it out of there. And, you know, one of the best chelators is probiotics. One of the best chelators is cleaning your liver out. Get rid of all the garbage in your liver by doing the reset, and believe you me, you'll take every heavy metal out of your body in 30 days. Because your liver knows how to get rid of that stuff. It does. It won't accumulate if your liver is clean. So I'm a guy to go another step back, Mike. I go back another step. Okay? And I like the liver to be clean, because the liver it knows exactly what to do. And we'll talk about how your kidneys filter that stuff out too, which we'll show you next week. How the kidneys, if you fix your kidneys, your body is intelligent. It knows how to get rid of heavy metals. It'll chelate it naturally. And I like probiotics because there's certain bacteria, they leach on to heavy metals and get rid of them. That's how smart that bacteria is. So very, very good question, Mike. Okay, we appreciate it. Elsie is asking about, I talked about that oil of oregano spray. Keep it in your purse, ladies. Oh, I get so uptight about this. All the chemicals. Oh, the world is not thinking past its nose. We have such a short-term vision. The virus, the virus, the virus. And we hear it 24/7. Look, I'm not against washing your hands. I'm not. Soap and water. Quit using those crappy chemicals. Do you know that I was reading an article the other day. Health Canada pulled a lot of those hand sanitizers. They pulled them off. They said, you got cancer stuff in there. That's why I like oil of oregano. You want to make your own? I like the spray. I got the spray. Poor little, I was going into a store. I might have told you the story, but this poor girl, I just happened to come off of the chemicals on a podcast, and then I went to a store, and the girl, the first thing, you're coming in, she wants to squirt my hands. I don't like that stuff. And I gave her a little lecture. Poor girl. She didn't know. Thank God I had a mask on. I didn't mean to do it. She didn't know what I was talking about. I said, you don't want to put that stuff on. It looks like estrogen. Who else was asking? Because Sherry was asking about perfume. Just understand that when you spray that on your body or whatever, your body thinks it's estrogen because it looks like estrogen. Anything that's chemically made. Look, I want you to smell good too. Okay? I'm just telling you what chemicals do. They look like estrogen. That's why we see so much breast cancer. It's breast cancer month. Get away from chemicals as much as you can. You're never going to get rid of all of them, but as much as you can. I just can't stand these hand sanitizers. And when I see people, they're just overspraying everything. The poor kids in school, they're spraying down everything. The poor janitors, they got to work on that stuff. I'm telling you, we have no idea how much more. We already see too much childhood cancer. Just wait. Just wait till we see what we're going to see. Good morning, Peter. An old friend. No, but seriously, guys, like I get it. I know the virus is around. You want to wash your hands and you know what? But don't put this crappy chemicals. It gets my blood pressure up. I'm going to have to go for another walk. Bring that blood pressure down. I know. It gets so uptight. Ooh, Colleen was asking about sweeteners and the brain. What does it do? Well, look, like aspartame, the chemical sweeteners, I don't like those things. I don't. Okay? Sucralose and all those things. I don't like them. That's why when you're doing the 30-day reset, you're not taking any of those sweeteners. You can use stevia. Okay? And you can use some xylitol and erythritol. Anytime you see an OL at the end of it, that is what they call a sugar alcohol. Now, don't overdo it with that stuff. A lot of people don't tolerate sugar alcohols. They're sort of semi-natural, I call them. Don't overdo it. Okay? So, yeah, good question. I think I touched them all. Oh, Lucy, will I get enough protein eating eggs, meat, and cheese? Yep. If you put a Himalayan salt on it. Oh, no, she's not saying protein. Sorry. Lucy's saying I meant to say potassium. Yes. Now, look, as your body makes an adjustment, if you start getting cramps, make sure you're taking some extra potassium. Okay? I like potassium. Add a lot of Himalayan salt. You got a lot of potassium in Himalayan salt. You got a lot of magnesium. You got boron. You got a lot of things. But yeah, you know, like I said, sometimes in the 30, as your body changes fuels, some people get cramps. And your body's making a huge adjustment, especially at the kidney level. Add some potassium. Extra salt. If that doesn't do it, then actually take a couple of capsules of potassium. Okay? So very good questions, guys. My blood pressure is coming down. Oh, chemicals. We live in an infested world, and now we're on steroids on those things. Unbelievable. Like I said, we're not thinking past our nose. The cancer that's going to come out of this. I listened to the president last night, and he said the problem can't be worse, right? The solution can't be worse than the problem. And I agree with that. I think we're not thinking. What about the long-term effects? And I know, I don't want you to get the virus. I want your immune system to be able to fight any virus. That's where I come from. Anyway. Guys, I love you. If you want, share this with your friends, okay? If you're not a member of the Martin Clinic private Facebook group, join up today. I did a little teaching yesterday on a little sleep trick. Okay? Love you guys. Talk to you soon.